Genesis 50 and 20. Genesis 50 and 20, we're going to talk about the story of Joseph. We're going to talk about Joseph a little bit, and we're going to kind of walk through the timeline of his life as we focus on our last thought for our revival is about not disrespecting our journey. Sometimes we get frustrated with life. Amen. 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 Sometimes Christian folk are too holy. Not in the real sense of the word, but I'm being shady, as they say. I'm throwing side eye because we get so caught up in who we are and who we think we are that we don't act like we have bad days. Amen. Genesis 50 and 20. Say amen when you get there. I'm reading from I'm in King James. I'll just stand in King James. It says, "But as for you, you thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive." Amen. Amen. Don't disrespect your journey. Amen. Don't disrespect your journey. As you look and see how we, and I say we because I was trying to, preachers, we try to negotiate with God about what we want to preach about and what he wants us to preach about. And you know who normally wins in that scenario. He does. I shouldn't say normally. He always wins in that scenario. But we were trying to slowly walk down a path. So we started with ourselves in Romans 12, 1 and 2, and about being a living sacrifice. Amen? Amen. And what our responsibility is, right? And then we talked about how although God is involved in that, right? But it's that still small voice. I think we were in 1 Kings 19, right? And then and that was earth, wind, and fire is not enough. You got to have that still small voice. And then yesterday we talked about send me your location when God asked Adam a rhetorical question. I think it's the first question that we've ever seen recorded in the Bible. It asked Adam where he was, and God knew fully where he was, right? But he wanted to see if Adam knew where he was, right? And so as we close out this revival, I don't want us to lose sight of our journey. All of us are living life together at the same time. Amen. Think about that. Even somebody you can't stand is alive at the same time you alive. God doesn't do anything by happenstance. He does everything for the purpose. Some purpose we don't even know. Amen. Have you ever been late to work? You ever been late to work and then you tried to leave and then you left something. You had to go back in the house. Then you tried to leave again, you left something else, right? Only to find out that you're on the freeway, there was a bad accident on the freeway, right? And so then you thought that was a bad thing, right? You thought it was something that you were all upset, and so you say, "Thank you, Lord. You didn't want me or even around that situation," right? Amen. Amen. Well, Joseph can kind of relate to that. My man Joseph here, and just as a point of reference, we're not going to turn there, but I'm just going to kind of reference something here. Joseph is born, and he's a young man of promise. He's a young man of potential. He's a young man that has his eye on something bigger because God has his attention at an early age. So much so that Joseph's father makes a mistake. Who was Joseph's father? So y'all talk back to me. Who was his daddy? You can't say nothing, Pastor. Who was Joseph's daddy? There you go. And Jacob's name turned into what? And how many sons did he have? And where was Joseph in that order? He was the baby. Who said that? The preacher's daughter, wasn't it? She cheating. Baby. And his dad made a difference in him than what he did the other 11. He did the opposite of what David's daddy did, right? David's daddy forgot David was out there with the sheep. All right? But no. Israel made this mistake, and it set Joseph on a course of action that wasn't even his fault. Then he makes him this coat of many colors, right? And he puts it on him, right? And for record's sake, you can look at Genesis 37 is where that's recorded. 37, starting around verse 2. Just for those who are taking notes, so we'll be on the same page, okay? So then his brothers later on that same chapter get mad and say, "No, we're going to kill him." I believe it was Reuben said, "No, let's not kill him. Let's make some money. Let's make some money." It's the same thing. It's just like killing them, but at least we got something on the deal. Am I right about it? Because I don't like him no more than y'all, but that, we can't go home and he ain't here because Daddy gonna kill all of us, right? So they ripped up his coat, they poured animal blood on it, and they said, hey, listen, we tried that. We really did. All 11 of us tried, and we just couldn't, we couldn't stop the wild animals. They got them, right? They sold him into slavery, right? Then he was in prison. Yeah. See, in life, you're going to go through some things that's your fault, and then sometimes life is just going to happen. Some stuff you could have avoided. Amen. We give in to our own desires. We give in to our flesh. We give in to whatever, and we set ourselves up. But then there's other times where God allows you to be put in a prison. Anybody ever felt like you've been in a spiritual prison and don't know why? Have you ever just wondered why did cancer have to come my way? And for some of us, why did it have to come back 2 or 3 times? Why did I have to deal with why was I born into the family I was born into? Funny story. When I was a kid, me and my sister used to get mad and say, how come we wasn't the Jacksons? How come my last name is Cook? Always on TV, I thank God that my last name is Parish and not Jackson. Some stuff is just completely out of our control. Joseph finds himself in prison. Why was Joseph in prison? All because Joseph was accused of doing something that he did not do. Yeah, man. I'm not even going to read the 39th chapter of Genesis because I get stuck there, because that is a very powerful scripture. And if you have any young men or young women in your life, parents, I want you to read that passage with them and have a discussion about how they should handle themselves sexually. Amen? Amen. Joseph chose to do the right thing, found himself in prison anyway. And for many of us, the story would have stopped right there. We would have simply gave up on our gifts and on our talents and everything else. But that's not what Joseph did, is it? Joseph is in prison utilizing the gift that God gave him to interpret dreams. Let me back up. I got in a hurry and I skipped over some stuff. Joseph told his brothers and his parents about a dream that he had. Yeah. He had this dream that they were all surrounding him and everybody was having to bow down to him. And that's what made his brother say, I done had enough. He think he better than we are. Yeah. He think we better than you. He think he know more than us. And now we finna bow down to him? Oh, no. But Joseph kept in contact with God. So even while in prison, even while going through some of the worst experiences you could ever have, even while trying to make sense of why is this happening to me, God's hand is still on Joseph. And let me stop right here and tell you, his hand is still on you while you are dealing with your imprisonment. Amen. We want testimonies. We don't want tests. Spiritual you are, you struggle with the scripture that tells us that we need to rejoice when we're going through all these various trials. I don't even like reading it. I don't even like reference it. I hate saying it out loud. I don't want no part of that. And if you're honest, neither do you. That's why some of us chase money the way we chase it, because we've equated money with happiness, right? And then that's rich people killing themselves every day. Yeah. So while you are dealing with whatever you're dealing with, you need to still use your talents and gifts. So Joseph is in there, and he's helping the guy understand he's been in trouble. See, God will set the stage for you. All you got to do is just be you. God will have other folks start to talk about how good you are, and then you can redirect them and say, no, it ain't me. It's him that's in me. So we see here, Joseph finds himself interpreting dreams. Then he makes it I'm skipping ahead. He makes it all the way up to the Pharaoh dreams. Pharaoh is so impressed with him. I'm doing a whole lot of skipping. Pharaoh is so impressed with him that he makes him an advisor and then ultimately a ruler, which brings us to Genesis 50 and 20. Because there was a great famine in the land. His father is now old. His daddy is old. Joseph never forgot where he came from. He's trying to look out for his brothers, trying to look out for his dad and for his family, right? And at first he plays games with them because he recognizes they don't recognize who he is. Right? It's in the word. It's in the word. He hit a spoon in that stuff and said, hey, stop them. I think they stealing. I mean, he played all kind of little head games with them. They had no understanding of who he was. Which leads us to, I do want to read this one little thing right here. You see where it says right here? Look at verse 17. So let me go. Let me go to. I want you to really get this. Let me go to NIV. Too many thous in there on King James for me. Here we go. 17. This is what you say to Joseph. I ask you to forgive your brothers the sins and the wrongs they committed in treating you so badly. Now please forgive the sins of your servants of the God of your father. When their message came to him, Joseph wept. No matter how bad your family life is, you still love who? Your family. You still love them. Some of us have had to love some folk through some ugly situations. Some daddies who were never there for us, never wanted to be there for us until they got near the end of their life. Then they want to come back and try to make it right. Say, they wait till they get so close to Jesus that they can smell his morning breath, and then they trying to get right. And you can't allow yourself to let frustration, because frustration will have you say, forget you. Something like that. Forget you, Father. Yeah, that's what frustration will have you say. Some of our mother and daughter relationships have been so out of whack for so long because mom was incapable of showing the love she needed to show. But Joseph shows us in our humanity, even once we have achieved all this greatness, God has elevated us, you still want connection to who? Your family. So a word comes to Joseph from his dad saying, listen, man, forgive your brothers. Forgive them. Forgive them. Forgive them. And he reading that note, and he cries. And then he says something. Look at verse 18. His brother, I'm like, ha ha! I told y'all. I thought I told you. I'll get my puff dad. I thought I told you that we won't stop. Listen, and it would have said, and Joseph crip walked all across Egypt. It was then Joseph pop locked, and he did the electric boogaloo from the 80s, and it showed them what was up. No, Joseph was a better man than me, because they threw themselves down and said, we are your slaves. But Joseph said to them, do not be afraid. Am I in the place of God? I know I'm talking about your journey, and I know y'all didn't think I was going to talk about family and part of your journey, but that's what's wrong with some of us. When we trying to course correct and trying to get right and we can't stay right, it's our family. And it's really how we view our family. Yeah. In our culture, black folk of every color, of light-skinned black all the way to blue black like me, right? All the spectrum of darkness, right? One thing that we don't talk about a lot is mental health issues that we have, and many of our mental health issues originate, have their genesis in our family life or lack thereof. And we grow up not knowing how to deal with people because mama never hugged me enough and said, you are beautiful. Daddy never said, son, I'm proud of you. And so we don't know how to handle rejection the right way. Yeah. And then we bring all that stuff with us to church. That's why we we got to be the most loving and forgiving folk that God has ever created, because we don't know what hell they went through just to come into the building. And I say that all the time at Truly. And some of them, that's right, brother. And some of them roll their eyes at me. Some of them get mad at me, have little words. We need to get it right with them. But when we ignore the signs and that we are having an issue, and we don't want to get medical help, and we don't want to talk to nobody, and we don't want to do all that, all we're doing is delaying the inevitable. Let me say this and say this for the record. If you need help mentally, that does not mean that you are less than a Christian. That does not mean that you are a failure. That does not mean that you don't believe in God. That does not mean any of that stuff. That is not the truth. The truth is, when our folk were freed, they were not given any type of training how to deal with PTSD, post-traumatic slavery disorder. They were just set free. They didn't know how to live. And then they had to live in a situation where they couldn't get a job with decent pay. They had to be left slavery and went into sharecropping, which is another form of slavery. Basically, you work the lands, you can have something to eat. You can stay in that house that you was already staying in. Then the 13th Amendment started, and then policing started. Policing first started to round up free slaves. I'm not making this up. It's in the history books. Yeah. So this country has never welcomed us with open arms. We love y'all. Come on in. Absolutely not. So our folk came through some horrible stuff. And when you have all that tragedy and all that trauma, there's going to be lingering effects from generation to generation. In the spiritual world, we call that a what? A generation of what? And everybody family got it. Ain't a family I know, including mine, that's not dealing with some layer and form of a generational curse that has its genesis in the fact that we were taken from our homeland and brought here. So ain't nothing wrong with you when you need some help. Not like, man, hey, man, take care of us, we your brother. No, they came to him and threw themselves down in front of him. They knew they was wrong. All these years later, don't even recognize their baby brother. And they throw themselves at his mercy. You ever want to disarm somebody that's mad at you? Look at them in their face and say it with a clear heart, I really am sorry. The Bible says that in Proverbs. Something about a soft word turns away wrath. But it's got to mean, a person know when you mean it and when you just saying it. Some of us got beef with folk and we don't even remember what we beefing about, right? How about if we just work on out forgiving each other, it'll be nothing but love in the house. So our journey can't even get started because we got all this stuff on us. In the New Testament, Jesus says in Matthew, before you even make your sacrifices at the altar, if you got an issue with your neighbor, then go and make that right. Then come back to the altar. Because it ain't going to be accepted. He cares about how we love each other. So stopping some of us on our journey. So his brothers throw themselves in front of him. But Joseph said to them, don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for my good, to accomplish what he is doing, what was now being done, the saving of men's lives. Verse 21. So then don't be afraid. I will provide for you and for your children. And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. Your journey is your journey. Like I think I told you Monday night. I don't believe people when they say that they have no regrets. I think what people say, because I think we all have regrets. I think what they're trying to say is the way my life has. Does it make sense? Because we all have regrets. I tell truly, I got nugrets. Negroes I wish I never met. I tell them that all the time. I got some regrets. You got some regrets. Amen. If I could add some psalms to songs to our Baptist hymn book that we use truly, I wish I never met at all would be one of them. That'd be on page 1 by the Apostle Carl Thomas. I wish I never met her at all. At all. Yeah. That's a couple of them. But if we just loved each other, the way that Joseph here is showing love to his brothers. If we just had the ability, to understand where God has us in life, and yes, we had some hills, some valleys, some curves, some swerves, some bad decisions, some great decisions, some life that happened to us that we didn't cause. We've made it through all that and gotten to this point, right? But some of us still walk around with our head hung low and our eyes and our nose and our mouth looking downward because we don't think that we are about anything because of what we've been through. And understand, if you got some stuff in your past and you have survived it, that shows really how strong you are. Meaning that, boy, I'm finna really step on some toes. Boy, people ain't gonna like this one. Meaning it's like this. Somebody come join church. First thing we do, Christians, is judge them. What they wearing, what time they got there. Am I right about it? How they handle themselves. And we already sizing them up. What if, I said this Sunday morning, truly, I'm going to say this here. What if they knew you when you was younger? Truly our whole lives. So everybody know our business. The good and the bad. But some of us have church hop around, right? And we get to a new situation. We try to act like we didn't used to be what we used to be. But I think it shows God's strength. I think it shows God. I was having a conversation with a minister this morning. We're talking about doing some work together in the juvenile justice arena. And he made an analogy that, you know, he said, Reverend Parish, to me, it's like we're afraid to show our scars. Because we're afraid that if I show them my scabs and my wounds, that they're going to judge me and they're not going to listen to me. But you know what? That kind of logic only works here inside these four walls. Because you get on the street and you start talking to real folk who honest about their real issues. Have you ever met an alcoholic that tell you, oh, yeah, I know I'm an alcoholic, but I ain't going to stop? Listen, I can deal with that brother because at least he been honest with me. He ain't trying to dress up and act like he better than what he is. Am I right about it? He understands exactly where you are. We walk in here and we get into fairy tale land because we don't want nobody to know what we got in our past, or check this out, what we really going through right now. The reason why some of us can't get delivered is because we won't lay it all on the altar. We won't lay it out there. I'm struggling. I ain't one of these blessed and highly favored. How you doing? Man, my right pinky toe is cutting up today. I don't know what happened. I banged that thing in the middle of the night, and man, I'm going to tell you what's going on. Man, let me tell you, that Dominique, boy, she tripping. I don't know what I'm going to do with my baby girl. She ain't acting the way if you ask me what's going on, I'm going to tell you what's going on with me. How you feeling, Poe? How you feeling? You good? I'm feeling real Poe right now. I don't know about you. This is the one. Listen, I love when the world has to teach the church a lesson. And world, then Cheers, then Night Court. Y'all remember that lineup on Thursday nights? Boy, we couldn't miss it. We didn't have no TiVo and DVR and all that kind of stuff, right? Solid 2 hours. We watch, but Cheers says sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. And they always glad you came. You want to be where you can see the troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. But when we come to church, we don't act like that. We dress up our problems. We zip it up, and we too ashamed to wave our hand and say, I need God. And we won't dare go down to prayer because somebody going to look at us funny if we go down for prayer. We don't want to really get delivered because we're afraid of what sister so-and-so going to say about me at mission. I'm afraid of what brother so-and-so going to say about me in the parking lot. And that's why we can't get delivered. You're doing it to yourself. Man, don't ever do it for show. Don't ever praise God for show. But if you got something in you that needs to come out, this is where it needs to come out. If you got any place where you need to be 100% who you are, it's in this place right here. I don't care if you're struggling with a current addiction. So what? You in the house of the Lord. And I know him to be a way maker. Yeah, I know him to be a heavy burden bearer. I don't have to depend on daddy's testimonies no more. I know, when I don't hoop, but you know them old preachers say, I know it's, I've been there. I know it's going to be all right. I just ain't got to scratch my head and shake my leg to make it happen. I just know it's going to be all right because I done been through some stuff. And I ought to love my brothers enough to expose my journey to them. I ought to love my sisters enough to expose my journey to them. Not because I want them to look at me any kind of different, because I want them to understand if he did it for me, there's nothing special about Donald Parish Jr. I probably got more issues than the next man. Nothing special about me. Hopefully, I live my life where I'm willing to be transparent enough to help somebody who's going through the same stuff I went through or is currently going through what I'm currently going through. You know why college is a beautiful thing? College is a beautiful thing because you got somebody that's struggling right with you. Call your roommate. Tell you something. If you broke, your roommate broke right with you. And you get a real sense of community. What we gonna eat? That first week of college, it's like, okay, dog, let's see how this gonna go, player. You know what I'm saying? These my Oreos over here, okay? You know, don't touch them Oreo. You know what I'm saying? I got the double stuff, okay? My mama really love me. Your mama don't love you enough? That's fine. My mama got me double stuff Oreo. I count my Oreos when I go to class, and I count them when I come. Touch them if you want to. You know, that's... But about mid-September, you like, say, dog, you gonna eat the rest of them ramen noodles, or you just gonna put them in the tray? Like, no, you got to shake the whole bag out, player. Then by the end of the school year, both of y'all skinny. Everybody talking about that freshman 15. Well, you lose it in the spring because mom and daddy done already got mad at you, so I ain't sending you no more money. And you learn what fasting is. They ain't got to worry about the Daniel fast. They already fast. Let me tell you something. My son, I'm glad I'm recording this. Devin came home from college that first year being in UTEP. Daddy, send me some money. I need some gas money to get home. No problem, son. I sent him exactly what I knew he needed just to get home. Because I knew what he really wanted, but he didn't ask me. He would ask me, I would have gave it to him. But he said he just needed gas to get home. Fine, get him gas to get home. Boy, that boy came home. He was skinnier than that plant. I said, he said, Daddy, I need to learn how to cook. I said, oh, is that right? That's interesting, because we had this conversation. Come on in, get something to eat. But he learned a lesson. But the reason why folk don't come to church, because we don't tell them our journey. We want everybody to go from crackhead to the end result. We do. We want them to go from selling their body to being president of the mission. Now listen, you may have done that. That may be you, sister missionary. Maybe you were known to being a missionary. See, Pastor called it. But we got kids in here, Pastor. I'm trying to behave. He looking at me. But you may be known to have been a missionary in them streets, but now you going all across the world spreading the good news instead of spreading something else. Amen? Amen. We got cliches in that Christians say that they should not say. We say, you can't turn her into a housewife. Yes, you can. Because Proverbs 31 was written by one of the biggest ones that ever lived, Bathsheba. And Bathsheba is who is describing to her son Lemuel. Who you think Lemuel was? Solomon. And she's describing to him the woman to look after. So now all these virtuous, uptight church women, right, who ain't seen a day in their life. And when they pass gas, it smells like Febreze. Am I right? You know the ones I'm talking about. The ones, they butt cheeks so tight they can't hardly walk into church. They walk in church like this, Drive me crazy. You ain't nobody. You just like everybody else. Quit tripping. But you were Bathsheba, bathing in front of David because you want to be chosen by the king. It just may have been in the 50s and he was the starting quarterback of your school, but you want to be chosen. Quit tripping. If you don't like the fact she got multiple baby daddies, at least you know what baby daddy is. Yours was, you gave your baby away to the country back in the 50s, because that's what we did. Y'all, okay, y'all acting like I mean, everybody truly know them. They both are gone to glory. This is years ago. And sitting next to my father in the church, in the funeral, in the obituary, I discovered that they were not sisters. They were mother and daughter. And they were 11 years apart. And so we're reading the obituary, and my dad know what's coming. And I say, Dad, he said, shut up, boy. I said, wait a minute, shut up. And he told me, he said, you got to remember, back in the day, women were shamed as if they all got pregnant by the Immaculate Conception. We shame our women because they come up pregnant. They didn't come up pregnant. Somebody else participated in this ordeal. And let me say this. We got to watch out for pedophiles in the church. Amen. What this got to do with the journey? I don't know. What the Holy Spirit told me to say it. Take that up with him. But you don't never know what's in somebody's heart. You never know what God has brought them through. You never know who. She may have been a teenage mom, but you don't know who that father was. Maybe you don't know who that daddy was for a reason. Leave it alone. It ain't none of your business. Just help that situation. But truly, y'all remember this. About 2 years ago, we had a lot of our single moms at church, and I had them come forward to pray for them. And Pastor, before I could catch myself, they were coming forward, and I saw some of the looks of the Febreze sisters. That's what I'm going to call them from now on. So when we at church and we say Febreze sisters, y'all going to know who I'm talking about, okay? All right, don't y'all tell them, though. It's just going to be an inside joke. You know, so they should have came to the revival. But the Febreze sisters, they was, I mean, you could hear them smacking their lips. So I said, if you smack your lips, that means you committed to buying some diapers. Before I could even catch them. Because this is a part of their journey. This is the one location that they ought to come and not feel shamed, not feel embarrassed, not feel talked about. Because God has already forgiven them. Look at what Joseph say. Am I in the place of God? And I'm asking you, Crossroads, are you in the place of God? The church, are you in the place of God? Pastor so-and-so, are you in the place of, no. So if God can send Jesus to die for them, then I need to forgive them. Because they didn't do nothing to me. They sinned unto God. They didn't sin unto Reverend Parish. Everybody got a problem with homosexuality. We got a big issue with homosexuality. Listen, let me tell you what, if you love them, God can change and fix whatever he needs to change and fix. He just tell us to love them. That's the word. We want to get mad. Christians want to get mad and become judge, jury, and executioner. But Romans 5 says when you in the middle of your sins, Christ came and died for your narrow behind. So if he died for you, how come he can't die? If salvation came to your house, how come it can't come to somebody else's house? We all up in arms. We're counting how many women get abortions and this and that. Again, if you love them, and as a society, if we are a Christian nation, then women wouldn't be afraid to bring life into the world if they knew it was going to be taken care of. But yet we got somebody in office who's trying to cut off 21 million people's health insurance, and the white evangelical church is right in line with them saying, amen, that's right. Not realizing they cutting off their own nose, off their own face. The myth of the welfare mama is not really the black or Hispanic woman. It's more white women on WIC and everything, TANF and all this than any other population. We are the church. Our journey ain't always pretty. Our issues ain't always pretty. And guess what? If we put a camera on all of us before the end of the week, some of us going to do something that we're going to look at each other like, I can't believe you did that. But God is gracious. He's loving. He's merciful. He hangs in there with us. Amen. You got to respect your journey. You've been through some stuff. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Let it go. You asked him to forgive you. He forgave you. Let it go. You can't get freed up because you think everybody know your sin. Don't nobody know your sin. And guess what? Even if they do, so what? This light in you is going to shine no matter what. You not beneath somebody else, but just because you sin. Guess what? Everybody, all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Every single one. Ain't nobody in this room can say that they perfect. And if you are saying you're perfect, you just told a lie. So you just sinned right there. So scratch your name off the list. You are not perfect. Nobody is perfect. The wages of sin is what? Death. But the gift of God is what? Eternal life through Jesus Christ. Yeah. Respect your journey. And respect your journey enough to let somebody else have their journey. The hardest thing to do is to pour into somebody else's life and watch them make mistakes, right? Because immediately you want to fix it. And then when they stop listening to you, right, when they start tuning you out, then you get mad at them, right? Then you calm down and you pray and you say, you know what, God, they belong to you. I'm talking about your child. I'm talking about your significant other. I'm talking about just somebody you trying to help and minister to. You finally get to the point that you should have been at the first time. Let go and let God. I had a Christian once tell me, man, I don't think you can be a crackhead and be saved. I said, man, you addicted to fried chicken. Are you saved? Can't stand me, Pastor. I don't run with a bunch of preachers because I just no. Come on, man. That's why we losing. That's why it appears that we losing because I can pick out your sin. I don't like your sin. Your sin is bad. I just got this little bitty sin, but you got this major sin. Get out of here, man. Out of here with that nonsense. We care more about what we're going to wear when we sing. We care more about what we're going to wear on the annual day. We care more about all this stuff than actually getting out the walls and loving on somebody that don't look like us. And then get mad when we have a program and nobody show up. We think witnessing, I'm trying to close, but I'm trying to help you. We think witnessing is getting up and saying, invite your friends and tell them to come on out. We think that's witnessing. Jesus never built a brick. Okay, let me tell you something. God has a sense of humor. Check this out. Jesus was the creator of all things, right? What was Joseph? He was a carpenter, right? So Jesus, if anything, both his daddy, his real daddy and his stepdaddy was some pretty good builders. If he wanted to build a building, we got anybody play Fortnite? Where my Fortnite players at? Wave your hand. It's okay if you play Fortnite. Yeah, they acting like they don't know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. On this video game, Fortnite, when you run out shooting each other, you can just build a building right there. You can just have a building be built up and you can shoot at each other, right? If Jesus wanted to, he could have invented Fortnite right then. If he wanted us to have the model that we have right now, this is not criticizing Crossroads. This is the universal body of Christ in America. Because Jesus was portable. He went out and he didn't have to go do mission. His whole life was mission. But what we want to do, build a building, make it pretty, put all the ornamentation in it, and then invite folk twice a week. And then we get frustrated when people don't come. But then when people do come and they smell like a little weed, or they smell like some alcohol, or they don't, something just a little bit off them, we got 3 deacons looking at them. They can't even go to the bathroom. Look, he's moving, going to the bathroom. No, man, he's drinking water. I don't know. How we helping anybody on their journey if we going to act like that? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. Even folk in the world get tired and they want to get it right, but they don't want to come to church no more. They want what we have. They want this thing called Jesus. They've heard so much about him. They get off work because of him, doing it at the end of the year every year. I want to investigate and find out who he is, but they can't come into our house of worship without sister sitting them in the very back row, in the very last seat. Why do we get so judgmental? Last thing. You want to know why we so judgmental of everybody else? Because we ain't forgave ourselves. We got some stuff on us. Because if you free, if you free, you free to love anybody. If you free, if you have liberty, you got the liberty to love and be loved. You got the liberty. You can just flow in the spirit. You don't have bad days. You just have difficulties. But you're able to praise God when you're up, and you can praise him when you're down. Some of us, we ain't free. We just members of a country club known as whatever church. We just a part of a sorority or fraternity. But we not part of the universal body. And you'll read scriptures and you like, man, I should have peace that passeth all understanding. That ain't never happened for me. But I've been saved for 30 years. Well, maybe. Am I saved? Well, I don't know if I'm saved or not. Well, I ain't gonna talk to nobody about it. Man, that somebody can just come and just sit right here and to say, you know what bothers me? We got more security at our churches now. On guards. We got bars on the windows. We got codes. Then everybody that you give keys can't have a key to every room. Then we get mad at each other over silverware and Tupperware. We'll fall out. We'll fall out over some, I brought my cake cutter. And I can't find my cake cutter. And I know that I forgot it. I seen her with it. And then what your homegirl say, girl, I wasn't going to say nothing, but I saw her with it in her car. How you see a cake cutter in somebody's car? Listen, and then we'll fall out. True story. Truly, folks, y'all probably know who I'm talking about, and this is being recorded, so I got to be careful. We had somebody one time getting mad because somebody else had a little bit extra cheese sauce on their broccoli and cheese than what they did. Then somebody else got mad because they said, you gave me a half a scoop we had baked potatoes, so we had shredded beef, right? You gave me a half a scoop, but I saw her plate look like she had a whole scoop. Y'all quit naming names over there. Y'all quit naming names. They know exactly who I'm talking about. We used to have to say, and my dad used to say all the time, now y'all be nice to our guests over in the fellowship hall. Because it was almost like, see, look, these kids don't know gremlins. Let me tell you what happened with gremlins. Gremlins, use this cute little old thing, but something happened when you got wet. When you got wet, that's when all this ugliness came. Well, it's like the sprinkler was on that hallway and going from the sanctuary to the fellowship hall. Because there'd be a bunch of gremlins going on in the fellowship hall. It's just the truth. I've been in Truly a long time. And it ain't just Truly. I can pick on Truly because I love Truly, but it ain't just Truly. Part of respecting our journey, is like I told you, forgiving yourself, letting other people move on, and then loving them, man. If we love, all our buildings will be full. It really is. If you err on the side of love instead of running behind a policy, all of our buildings will be full. You know this sister struggling. You count her kids every Sunday. That's a shame. She got all them kids. She ain't got no man. That's a shame. God made it a shame. The shame ain't on her. The shame is on you that you ain't providing clothes. You ain't paying for daycare. That you not helping. Okay, this is my second close. I tried to close a minute ago. This is my second close. I've been closing good, too, before y'all got here, but Truly showed up, and I got to get them 3 closings, because I get them 3 closings. And so I don't want them to feel disappointed. God wants us to be a conduit and not a reservoir. We want to be a deposit. We want to be a canyon. We want God to just fill us up with blessings, and then we want it to overflow once he has filled us up, right? I know we read Malachi, and I think we kind of get that wrong. God really wants you to be a conduit. He wants to continue to bless you so you can keep blessing other people. But how can you bless other people if you're not being blessed, right? So then the responsibility of maintaining the blessing for somebody else ain't on you. Who is it on? But we so honorary, you'll get two packs of pork chops for $7 and go home, put one in the freezer, and it'll get freezing burned before you even cook it. But you know your neighbor ain't got nothing to eat. And you be like, oh, well, I told them about the sale. Well, they ain't got $7. You can tell me about a sale all day. Give me some pork chops. Quit tripping. Ooh, I'm going to get something. And you be like, man, go and grab a pack of chicken for so-and-so. So I ain't buying them no chicken. What's wrong with you? Some of y'all be looking like you got issues in the middle of the grocery store, talking to yourself. You arguing with the Holy Spirit. He trying to tell you to be a blessing. He trying to tell you buy this pack of chicken for $6.99. You know the pack I'm talking about. Got the leg quarter already in it. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes got little feathers on it, but it's okay. You can go home and cut them off. That's my favorite pack of, Monica can't stand that pack of chicken. And I buy that pack of chicken and say, this is mine. Ain't nobody in the house going to touch it except me, Pastor. I take my time, go through that pack of chicken, right? But every now and then that pack of chicken is on sale, right? And we so honorary that we'll let it go bad than be a blessing to somebody else. How is that respecting your journey? God bless me. I pray for increase. God enlarge my territory. He like, I'm trying, but every time I give you something to do, you can't do it, so I can't trust you with no more. So you praying, give me more, and I'm keep saying, get rid of what you got. Get rid of what you got. Amen. I ain't the shape I was a few years ago. Amen. I'm a little bit more of a pear than a pencil. I was a pencil at one day in my life. And now I'm a little bit more of a pear. Squash even. Right? I'm trying not to be a watermelon. I'm trying. But I'm closer to being a watermelon than I was the pencil I was growing up. Well, that's some stuff I got in my closet that I ain't going to get back into. Unless I want to cause a blood vessel to burst and have aneurysms all across my body. Why do we hang on to that stuff? It's just stuff. I'm finna be real messy. Some of us got some cars that we ain't driven in years. And you see somebody walk to the bus every day. And you can even help them get it fixed. But then you tell yourself, man, what's the love in that? What if God is waiting for you to get rid of that so he can bless you with what you really want? Maybe why we ain't got nothing, because we don't do nothing with what we got. Man, respect your journey, man. God is trying to bless you. This is not our permanent home. He's trying to set you up for the future. He's just saying, respect the journey, respect the love I'm giving you. Be loving to somebody else. Err on the side of love. When somebody walks through these doors, they ought to feel so much love that they don't even want service to end. We got some of our greeters here. We don't need to greet when they are inside the building. We need to be greeting them when they're on the parking lot. When they open their car door, we need to be greeting them. How you doing? When it's raining, we ought to have brothers out there on the parking lot with umbrellas. Just when it's raining, every woman they see, they got an umbrella waiting. Come on, let me walk you across the street, sister. Yeah. But you know what we got to do? We got to form a committee. Then we got to elect officers. Then we got to find out how much dues going to be. Then we got to pick a uniform. By the end, it's already September. It's too late to turn in the budget. And in about another month, we got to elect a new set of officers. Because I ain't like how they acted last meeting we had, right? Instead of just doing what we need to do, we find all this so we get paralysis by prayer. I need to pray. Reverend, have you prayed about that? Hey, did you pray and talk to God about that? Some stuff I ain't got to ask God. Love my neighbor, I ain't got to ask God about that. I got to love my neighbor. Yeah, humble myself, I ain't got to ask God if I need to be humble. No, I already know what he told me. I got to respect my journey, man. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there. Stop right there. We got church business meeting Saturday, and I don't want y'all to think I'm talking about our business meetings. You got to come up Saturday. I am, but I'm not. It's being recorded. My phone going to be ringing all night tonight. But it's just the truth. As we close out this revival, and Brother Willis, you don't have to. You don't have to. At least not right now. I'm going to signal you in a few seconds. We close out our revival. I hope that you have gotten something out of this for yourself, for your family, and for your church. Your pastor needs you to join him in this battle. He does. Not that you're not doing it already. Your pastor has not told me anything. I'm not making this up. He's not told me anything about you, negative or positive. He hasn't. That's not our conversation. I'm too busy trying to get him to pray for me about stuff I'm going through. I guess I let him talk about his stuff sometime. I'm going to do better. Now that I think about that, it's always like, man, pray for me about this. I got this going. You know what? I need to do better. I'm going to be a better little brother. I'm going to be a better little brother. It just hit me. I don't ever ask him how he doing. Man, I'm so glad you called me. Man, I got this. Here we go. But he needs you to join him. Because even as a pastor, you can feel trapped. You can feel locked in. Y'all need to know your pastor's human. He has needs. He has his own insecurities. He's going through life. He's dealing with all the same stuff you're dealing with, but he always has to be on. He can't have a bad day. For years, I said something wrong, and I have to go back and correct myself. I said that the Bible said ministers should be of no wine. The Bible doesn't say that, but it says we need to be sober-minded. So reason I don't drink, not that drinking is a sin, it's not. Overindulgence of anything is a sin. Right. Amen. Of anything. Right. So you need to know your limitations. But the reason why I don't drink is my phone rings too much, 2 or 3 o'clock. Seriously, Satan has been busy this week. Satan has been so busy this week. And nearly, not last night, but the other nights of revival, there has been those late night either Facebook messaging or marathon text messaging conversations with folk who are just dealing with some stuff and had nobody to talk to. Yeah. He's busy, man. Satan is busy. And these folk don't feel comfortable coming to us inside of our churches anymore, y'all. We got to fix that. Everybody bow your heads, please. Everybody please bow your heads. I want all of us, even if you don't think you need it, I want all of us to ask God to forgive us right now of being judgmental of either believers who are backslidden or of non-believers or somebody we don't even know their spiritual condition. But ask God to search your heart right now, and if you have any issue dealing with folk, ask him to touch you. Ask him to forgive you. Ask him to help you be a better Christian. Boy, that's hard. Because that means tomorrow somebody's going to get on that last nerve. And he's going to give you an opportunity to see. That's going to be your evaluation moment right there. But ask God to help make you a better Christian. All of us can get better at being a Christian.